and welcome back to the WGLNA Gold League Season 1. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. And as always, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, so you guys can stay updated on what's happening in the league around you.
You can also check out what the question of the day is.
That's right.
Which is, do you think anybody will reliably break the steps camp? I think so.
I think so as well.
He thinks so, and I think it'll evolve that amazing little A2 camp.
Yeah, well, and
or
also,
A2 boost.
one thing we actually haven't seen steps at all tonight, so
No.
maybe we can talk about maybe that might not be a map that a lot of people are wanting to play because it is so heavily.
It's not over yet.
That's true. We do have one last match for you guys. It's going to be 07 versus Refuse. From the side of Refuse, we have Coolhammer on the face-off, and in 07 we have Foster Kid. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
How's it going?
Hey guys.
Good. No, good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and Coolhammer, we're going to go ahead and start with you. Now, you guys have taken down Elevate and have very few of the top-tier teams really left to face off against, assuming that they stay top teams. Have you guys, begin to start setting your eyes on the finals and start thinking about those kind of setups?
Not really. We're just taking it game after game, and we'll see if we make it there.
All right, we're going to stop asking those questions because everybody's going to give us that response. I know how it is. I did it too. All right, so let's see. Refuse. I'm going to get real with you for a second because clearly you're number one in the standings. Who do you consider the second best team in the league?
Oh.
Actually, I consider ourselves second and HWC first because they have 2 maps. They played like 2 matches less than us.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
if they win those 2, they will just surpass us in points. And
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Fair enough. And again, exactly how I would answer. You slick. All right, so now we're on the Fosta.
That's right, Fosta. Now we're going to go and turn the questions over to you. You guys were really close to beating Noble on Tuesday, but you guys lost for a few matches. It seemed like we were talking at the beginning, maybe some hot and some cold ones. Kind of explain what happened there.
I really didn't think it was actually that close. We kind of stole a win one game.
Oh,
and,
okay.
I mean, they had one game on mine easily, but they just kind of fumbled it. But I mean, it's all right.
I don't
It
know,
is what
man.
it-
Don't sell yourself
Yeah.
short. I saw a number of times where you had them a little bit better than you probably thought you did. But hey,
Yeah,
fair
I
enough.
guess we can close anything out. That was the problem. We
Noble's a
just
good
messed
team.
up a few times, and it happens.
Yeah, I suppose you can always go back and forth with it as well. It's like, well, if we didn't make these mistakes, and then while you're thinking that, you're completely neglecting the mistakes Noble made.
Sure.
It's easy to go with it. So, fair enough. In those games, saw some really great moves, as we were just discussing. So, who or what would you say has been your biggest influence in developing strategy?
That's a pretty tough question. I'd probably just say the EU region. I think I watched that the most.
EU. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been developing because I've never really called before, and I have to do it this season because we lost our caller last season. So I've just been improving as well, and a lot of the guys on the team, like, they really help me out with like side calls and everything. So, but I definitely think the biggest influence though is the European region.
All right.
Yeah, it's I've always agreed with that as well. They play a lot of variance over there is the thing. So you get a lot of different things to look at, a lot of different play styles. I think I saw 2 Borsigs over there on Himmelsdorf earlier today.
Wow.
Whatever. I'm talking about WGLE.
Yeah, this is
Talking about
WGLNA right now.
America.
Coolhammer, any final words to Fosta before we get into the battle?
Have mercy on us. Yep.
Oh.
All right, Fosta, your response.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm not sure how you would respond to that either. Gentlemen.
It's all part of the head game, man.
Yeah,
He's
he's
trying
already.
to throw
Yeah,
you
don't
off.
listen.
I
Mute,
guess.
mute your mic. Mute everything. We'll get you out right now. Best of luck, guys, into the battle. We'll see you shortly. Man, Coolhammer coming out with
He's
those
slick
mind
today,
games
man.
strong.
Slick today.
I don't know if I can even keep up with these guys.
Let's just ask him this question, and he just slides right by it.
Now, one thing I kind of want to go after what Foster was saying, being in kind of a new position as a caller. Were you ever a caller for your team?
Yeah, at times. Our team was. It's hard to discuss. Honestly, our team started out with kind of like a each one of us called, and there's one other guy who really did a lot of the bulk of the calling. One of us would call different maps, then we split into this weird, like, we both share it all the time thing. And then he led for a while, and then I led for a while, and ultimately,
it worked
like he
out.
said, it's hard. I led a lot more before that in Clan Wars and whatnot, but it's hard. It's hard to take it all on yourself, and like he said, his other people help him out with side calls and whatnot. That's absolutely vital. So perhaps we could take a look at rosters.
Yeah.
Although I don't know who those people would be. We'd have to. Maybe that's next. That's the next time question.
That's a follow-up question.
So for Refuse, so far Drogon Pro leading in the overall points per battle. E63, M6, KT, also something to look at. Sublime Banana, Memory Leak. I mean, we can go down the whole list. They've all been playing quite well.
Sure.
For 07, Fosta, Makos, but the two people who stand out the most in terms of actual just points generated for fantasy, and again, we've talked about how that doesn't necessarily mean they're the best.
Or that they're going to play tonight.
Or that they're going to play tonight. That it'll be Vitroxity and Synergy 3K. Now, Synergy 3K didn't play last time, so I'm not sure if he'll be here today. But both of those guys tend to do quite a bit when they do show up.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if they will show up tonight as we're into our fourth and final battle of the night. Refuse Gaming versing off against 07. Our first map is going to be Mines. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we got for our tanks.
So for Refuse Gaming, 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, and 2 WZ-131s, which signals to me like they're going to take the hill, but maybe that's the whole point. You think they take the hill and they won't. But we'll get it out of the way. An IS-3, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37 for 07.
Looks like more mind games coming out here for Refuse as we're getting into our final match of the night. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if 07 actually wins against Refuse now, and it's not in an overtime, then they'll actually tie Refuse for points. So going through this, obviously that's probably a lot of, that's probably what 07 hopefully obviously looking for. Again, everyone looks for a win and a lead, but a lot of damage going to make us. He comes across the corner. Refuse Gaming looks like they were set up and waiting for that to happen. Only 2 members of 07 make it on top, and they took a lot of damage for it. Actually, Makos being the one who took a lot of damage for it. Tries to pop off to get a shot, takes another one, 278 points. He's got to be careful as he is low, and now 07 trying to respond in whatever way that they can. Cool Hammer and that ISC pushing up on top. Damage going across to Warbander in his T-54. Looking like they're backing off 07 against the corner. If Makos needs to be careful if he comes around the corner because they have a lot of members of Refuse with their turrets turned to him. Shots going down into E63. I think the turret's not making it in time, getting some free damage there. But again, he has to be careful. He is flirting with death as one more shot from that IS-3 will take him down. And looking at the kind of positioning right now, you feel like Refuse, oh wow, is Memory taking half of his health.
Refuse is kind of playing into 07's hands right now. I don't know why they're sticking around in this fight, although they do have KT coming around behind. And wow, he's not even spotted yet. They have nothing in the 1, 2, 3, 4 wall. KT's about to make a huge impact. Refuse actually looking very good. I was wrong.
Yeah, pushing on the side. KT coming around, getting some shots on the Warbanner. Sublime Banana gonna pick it up, and they are finding the overmatch against Vetro and Synergy here. Refuse pushing the lock. E63 finding Makos. Camador taking down Cool Hammer and Rude Awakening finding Synergy back on top. Now E63 getting extremely low, trying to make sure he stays alive. ZXFT turns his turret, takes a shot, but misses. And down at the bottom, Vetro going down to Drogon Pro. ZXFT now looks like he's going to be the next focus. He does get E63 before he goes down himself to Memory League, but just 2 tanks remain for 07, Camador and Foster Kid. Foster Kid still in base, so not much you can do to help out Camador here, who is getting swarmed by these members of Refuse Gaming. Rude Awakening going to be on the reload. KT taking the shots. Damage coming from all the sides. Sublime Banana, the only one in potential danger from going down. Let's see if Foster Kid can find him before going down himself, but Refuse Gaming coming out extremely strong in this the first battle of our 4th match of the night. Foster set on fire and then taken out by Drogon. David, we have your curse still up and coming. Refuse Gaming. That push from KT coming around the side, not being spotted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So I never see a 54 cut the corner that short. It just doesn't happen. You're always so used to people being there to stop you.
Right.
But I figured out how it works. I understand how it works here. I should have had more faith in Refuse. Obviously, it's just mind-boggling why they were sticking around in that fight.
Okay.
For all of you who are wondering in that firefight who came out on stats on top, we don't need to look at it. Drogon Pro and KT both over 2,000. Everybody else below 1,000. Vetro and Camador for 07 putting up over 1,000. Nobody else really putting up numbers you're going to care about for your fantasy. So I was wondering why they were sticking around because it looked like they were just losing damage.
Right.
Their positions weren't superior. They weren't going to push on hill, and that's what it was immediately looking like they were going to do.
Okay.
But it's very simple. So Refuse got there. They saw they had resistance. They did a quick thing, which is probably one of the most important parts of battle calling at all. You count tanks.
Huh.
Because how many
Sure.
tanks are in different spots indicate how many are not in other spots, right? So they probably looked at it, and they're like, oh, 6, which means the T-37 is the only thing to stop us in the 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
KT flank him. So he just goes through the water because the T-37's there. He's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Pulls up, starts lighting him up from behind, which cues the overall turret where you have to send somebody to deal with KT, but as soon as you do, the rest of the teams roll down on you, and the guys on hill can't join that fight fast enough.
Right.
So if they can keep you in the middle on top of the hill, they can snipe at you all day, add up a lot of damage. But if they get up and over, then the number of guns that Refuse has in that ball can focus one guy out, and then you get ahead with this cascade effect where you have more damage to the other team, and it just keeps rolling and rolling. So, great call by Refuse.
Absolutely.
You keep an eye out for that kind of stuff in the future, because, wow.
Let's see if Refuse can continue the victory as they are now 1-up to 07, or if 07 can start finding the way back. As we're into our next battle, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it and take a look at what we got for the tanks.
For Refuse Gaming, 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, and again, the 2 WZ-131s. 07, an IS-3, 5 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Wonder if they're actually going to go to the top of the hill this time with those WZs. They certainly can. But in general, I guess they're probably just missing the Aufklärungspanther. Dude, I'm not even going to bother.
The guy in the commercial did it better.
The apparently not so awful. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it makes me not feel bad about how bad I am at pronouncing it because it sounds difficult every time he says it. It's like, and he's a professional. So professional German pronunciator.
Yeah.
Not a word. Anyways, so I guess they're missing their not so awful Panther because they're running this instead, and I really think that what they were doing there with that tank was actually very intriguing. It had a lot of DPM, very good depression. That's not as good of a scout as an LTTB. Personally, I like the combination of an LTTB and the Alf Panther. But the Alf Panther, in case you're wondering why they don't have it, why I'm talking about it in the past tense, it was essentially removed in patch 9.9, so we're not going to see it for now.
Bye-bye.
Replaced by the Spey Panzer, which I played a little bit. Not a fan, honestly.
All right.
It's kind of a cheeky little tank, but it does it's kind of like a 2801 at tier 7, and it's just not quite fitting for me. I didn't really like it, as I already emphasized. So I'd be extremely intrigued to see a team use it, because I would love to see where it is viable in professional play. Perhaps one of the other leagues has already done so, but I haven't gotten a chance to check all that out. So it's on WGLNA. Maybe tonight, maybe Refuse. I mean, if anybody checked it out and is going to use it, obviously it's Refuse because they want to see what they lost, right?
Sure.
But enough about that. Rude Awakening checking out the 1-2, discovering something is lit. 07 being far heavier in the 1 through 4 than probably anybody would expect, given this layout. The only tanks that have been spotted or that are known are ZXFT and Commodore, from what I've seen. Or something could have slipped by, no problem there. Rude Awakening doing his best to scout that. And the rest is just kind of a rotation game for Refuse.
I think we saw this Tuesday night. I'm not sure from what team. I don't know if it was Noble, but this kind of idea of just sitting back and making sure that the information that is not gained from your opponent maybe starts making them overthink.
It was 07.
Oh, it
was 07. They just did it so far back that they gave up the whole map. And it was one of the throws that we were talking about with them in the face-off there. But this is a much better version of the same thing, kind of.
Great.
Synergy 3K back. Yeah, just I don't like it a lot, but it is certainly a better way of doing things, and it definitely has the chance of setting a trap for Refuse.
Sure.
A lot of teams are exploiting the 1-2 line as it's one of the best ones there, and ironically, the weakest point in this whole thing is actually the middle, where nobody really wants to go. Although that is incredibly debatable.
Okay.
I mean, middle to K4, maybe. Probably the best line. If you can get there without being spotted. It doesn't look like anything's actually spotting it, which is why I was talking about it potentially being the best line. But anyways, they're looking like they're going to go down the 8-9, which isn't really a bad call. They may stall out a little bit as they run into Commodore. And Synergy 3K, who's back in a rather troll spot that is,
back at the town.
is specifically there.
Usually Arties are there, right?
Well, we saw Germ go there.
We saw Germ go there and then disappear from
it didn't really work out. So, where Synergy 3K is right now, he can support Commodore as KT and the rest of these guys come in, and we will see exactly how well it works out for them. Typically, I don't really like it, but maybe it'll work.
Fighting going on. KT and the team for getting some shots onto Commodore in his IS-3. EC3 also going to get some as well, but Synergy taking shots to the response. Good amount of crossfire also coming from top of the hill against Commodore, and we have 07 trying to respond by saving the rest of the members, but Rude Awakening taking Commodore down. The first tank falling onto the side of 07. Now Synergy looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble, but his teammates over on the side, we have Foster and Gang backing him up. 2 minutes and 50 seconds, so the clock continues to tick down for the side of Refuse Gaming, who is on offense, but up on the hill. A lot of shots going into Foster, who only has 28 health left. If he doesn't get out of there, he will go down quickly. In that T-37, now some more shots going across down on the bottom to Warbander. Refuse doing a great job finding these tanks, picking them off before they can do anything in response to stop them. And the health over, actually not over that, but about 800 in the Refuse's favor. Memory Leak looks like he's going to push back Drogon, KT, and EC3. The only thing that's keeping them from collapsing onto this T-54 is Makos, Vetro, and Fosta back there. EC3 getting some more damage onto Makos in the corner without taking any in return. Let's see how long this can go as Mako takes another shot. Looks like from on top, both IS-3s focusing that corner. And here we go. KT coming on the side against Synergy. Drogon Pro and Memory Leak all trying to collapse on that 3v1. Let's see how long T-54 can last, or if Synergy can do as much damage as he can before he goes down himself. One more shot, he'll go down. Let's see who's going to pick it up. It will be KT finding Synergy. Fosta in his T-37 deciding to abandon his position with Makos and Vetro. Let's see if that's all for the better, but 7 tanks still remain from Refuse. Haven't lost a single one. Doing a great job here. And let's see if they can just kind of clean this match out as a minute and 30 seconds remain. The only trouble I can see, David, is if one of the members from 07 finds a way to slip past him. But is Refuse set up and wait for that?
They're starting to get in position to make sure that doesn't happen. And Fosta is really in the best position to run.
Yeah.
What I would say is kind of the hardest one is actually finding a way to get on top of this inside a minute with enough time to clean up everything. Like you said, he's going to try and run. Cool Hammer is actually going to try and cut that off, but I don't know if he can stop Warbander. But it doesn't look like it's going to need to. Sublime Banana
on
stepping
the chase.
up.
Absolutely going for it. ZXFT, Cool Hammer, and Fosta both taking the shots. Or sorry, Cool Hammer and Sublime both taking the shots into Fosta. Warbander, though, has a nice shot. If he can find Cool Hammer, he'll take it down, and that would be a tank gone who could potentially chase down Warbander, but Warbander actually being taken down by Cool Hammer. Not what they wanted. 40 seconds now remain. ZXFT extremely low in that T-54 lightweight as he's being chased. Looks like by 2 members. Cool Hammer trying to collapse from the hill. Rude Awakening in that WZ. 131 finding him, ZXFT in his T-54, and now just 2 members. Mako's 1 shot away. KT looks like he's going to be the one to try to pick that one up. No, Memory Leak is going to find it. Now 18 seconds. Vetro has to survive, but he has the rest of Refuse Gaming collapsing down on position. He finds one. KT goes down. Drogon takes a shot. E63 coming around the corner. Drogon's also going to go for the ramp. E63 going to take it down before, and Refuse Gaming picking up just in the final seconds as 2 seconds were left in that map. One thing I wanted to notice was Warbander in the back. If it was that Cool Hammer on top that took the shot and finished him off. I mean,
yeah,
if Warbander would have taken, IS3 down, he could have escaped no problem.
Yeah, but it's hard to see. He knew he was being lit, but it's hard to see and get a shot on an IS3 position. It's not like Cool Hammer just went there knowing, as the containment tank, knowing that he can give you 1 shot. He didn't just go there throwing his life away. He knew that all he had to do was take his time and hit that shot, and that he would be fine.
That was close.
You can go to stats. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Nothing significantly huge to highlight. Sublime, Synergy, doing the most on their team, followed by Drogon and Vetro for each side. However, all I wanted to point out here is that everybody, for the most part, is sharing damage on both teams. And as evidenced by the stats, the match was relatively equal the whole way through. That spot that we saw, I believe it was Synergy 3K in, the one that was in the southeast corner.
Yeah.
So it worked in the beginning, kind of stalled out Refuse.
Right.
And then Refuse took a minute. Once they got the speed up, crossed right to that corner, free isolation.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying I don't really like the spot. Because it works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it's because the other team realized you've given them an isolation. It's right there. He has nowhere to go, and there's no easy way for other people to trap the tanks that go in there. and to support them. Because as you saw, all Refuse did is then use the hill line to get closer.
All the way.
It's actually better for them. They need to make that crossing anyways.
Gotcha.
So while they cross, they got a free
Take
tank.
them tanks.
So yeah, that's it right there.
One thing I also want to kind of point out from 07 side, it looked like you had Foster. I can't remember the other two, so I'm just gonna call them Foster and Gang, doing their best to support Synergy back there in that position. But while they were trying to support, it looks like they were taking damage themselves. So is that still an ideal spot, or obviously is that too exposed?
There's no other way to do it.
Okay.
So the IS-3s on the top of the hill, we're able to light them up, and that is all part of it.
All that happens.
Yeah. So it's why I've been pointing out that the best way to defend mines is actually be proactive, to force your opponent to take the hill, because if you give them the hill, they control that entire southern area. It's just like that. I mean, if a team doesn't know how to do it, just watch what Refuse just did, and there you go. That's it. Like, carve teams up high voltage, we've seen do it. Noble, we've seen do it from the top as well, even though they run that kind of weird heavy IS-3 lineup.
Yeah.
But either way, you get on top of that hill and you own the south completely.
Yeah.
So 07 learning that the hard way.
Sure.
But doing a much better job fighting that out than I would have expected.
Well, yeah, and also we kind of pointed out how they were the ones performing that same kind of let's all sit back, let's deny information from Refuse there, doing it better. But where was that kind of if you're going to allow your teammate to take the hill like that, where do you go? Do you if you're 07, do you then go, okay, we've sat back long enough, now make a decisive push and try to catch them off guard, or do you just sit back like they did and just wait and hopefully it doesn't go as bad next time?
I mean, if we're talking about ideal circumstances,
yeah, ideal.
Where you're
totally
playing,
ideal.
You're playing a great team that is also in ideal circumstances.
Gotcha.
Then you have to contest the hill somehow. If you just let them have it, it's only a matter of time until you go down. I mean, maybe if you get lucky, you can sit in the back and a team will blow it. But at this point in the league, I think we've seen everybody start playing mines on a much higher level than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So certainly not something I would want to risk a loss on at all.
All right, well, we are now switching sides into our third battle of our fourth and final match of the night, Refuse Gaming versus 07. Refuse is now on defense, 07 on offense. Let's get right into that and take a look at what we got for our tanks.
For Refuse Gaming, 5 T54 lightweights and 2 WZ131s. For 07, 2 IS-3s, 3 T54 lightweights, and 2 LTTBs.
Well, it looks like 07 now going more aggressively for the hill. They are on offense, but Refuse Gaming having the same idea, sending all of their tanks on top. 07, though, sitting back here, obviously just hoping that Refuse will going to keep push over. Looks like E63 and Sublime are going to use just that. They might get lit up. Sublime Banana getting dropped extremely low. Beautiful amount of crossfire going against that T54 lightweight, and that was a good chunk of damage there. Obviously, ideally, if he would have gone down, but more shots are continuing to fly across. E63 and Foster taking some shots back and forth to each other. Foster missing those in those LTTB's memory league. Rude Awakening over on the side, trying to maybe take down Warbanders. He pushes up in that IS-3. Sublime Banana, though, needs to be careful. He is on top of the hill, but he is one more shot. Looks like in that T54. Commodore taking 303 points of damage in that IS-3. And now it seems we're going to have these shots going back and forth here for a while. KT through the split of the rocks, taking a good chunk of damage in his T54. And now it looks like we have Foster moving his way around. No, it looks like he's trying to proxy spot Sublime Banana there, maybe for his teammates. But David, that was just a beautiful kind of beautiful focus fire on Sublime there coming out from the side of 07.
Very nice call, by the way, on Foster getting the proxy spot. Many people do not see that kind of thing. And like I said, very, very nice. Now, 07, trying to find a way back on top of the hill or contest whatsoever. Personally, as Refuse, I wouldn't mind taking that amount of damage. I wouldn't want it all in one person so they're one-shot range, but it's worth it for the top of the hill. A lot of the time, unless 07 can find a way of getting up there clearly. Doesn't look like he can right now. So sending ZXFT out to the west in his LTTB to try and find that angle. Right now, it's going to be a stalemate for a couple of minutes until 07 probably tries something that is a little bit risky, and then Refuse responds, and we'll just see who tanks better at that point. But right now, Refuse is in better position. I think might move a tank or two, but other than that, looking good.
Refuse just actually taking the HP lead there just by a slight amount, but still an amount nonetheless. As Warbander and Commodore having to back out in those IS-3, just taking too much damage from too many members of Refuse there. Now, looking over on the side, Makos and ZXXT have been spotted over on the island with the Lighthouse Memory League taking some shots from him. Now, the risky play that 07 has to make, is that just sending their team over for that that Western cap.
That's probably coming in behind Refuse, but Refuse does not look like they're waiting for that.
Oh no, here they come, Refuse ghosting on the members, but Commodore finding ECC3. He was absolutely focused. Let's see if they can respond, taking down Commodore themselves. Rude Awakening picking up that kill, and the rest of the members continue to push down. Warbanner gonna be the next focus. 2 more shots going out on him. Coolhammer gonna be the one to pick that one up, and now 07 trying to send the members back to respond. Memorly getting a nice amount of ram damage there. Rude Awakening finishing off Fosta, and now just 4 tanks remain for 07. Refuse Gaming doing a good job finding and pulling that trigger when it was necessary. Drogon Poe, though, getting extremely low there, but he's going to find synergy before he goes down. 2 Vetro, 3 tanks now. Refuse Gaming coming on top. ZXFT looks like he's the next one. KT getting some ram damage into Vetro there. Coolhammer is low, but he looks like he should be fine. Makos, though, not going to be so okay as Vetro, his last teammate, going down. Just 1,000 health remain, and Refuse Gaming gonna pick up another victory onto Mines, making it 3-0 against 07 Gaming. That was fun to watch. Just looking there on top of the hill, this is going to be kind of a stalemate. It's going to be up to 07 to make that call, and then we'll see Refuse respond to it. But Refuse is like, no, we're just going to go, and they did it well.
So I think I saw the trigger that caused that, and it's pretty normal, honestly. Nothing particularly special, but 07's going to learn that the hard way again. And that is, they move those 2 IS-3s across the, if you divide the hill into like 2 parts, the top and the bottom, right? Okay. They moved it across the 5 line, so they're directly underneath the hill where you saw that LTTP proxy lighting before.
Yeah.
And that puts the 2 IS-3s in a place they can easily be surrounded and killed.
Oh.
So as opposed to when they're on the west side of that whole area, they can just back into the water. And if you go chasing after him into the water, the angles aren't so good. You're getting shot from the island, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So I think Refuse saw they had 2 tanks in hand, stopped messing around, grouped up, took him out.
Yeah. And that worked extremely well from there. Refuse just doing a good job showing that they are on top of the leaderboards here, on top of the tanks for this season. Now looking for 07, right? You're now down 3-0 onto Mines. You have 1 more map, going for that kind of push because it looked like it was going to work out, right? They had a lot of focus onto Sublime in the beginning. If they would have taken him out, would that have gone? I mean, obviously you want to tank down, but how much more would that have affected the outcome if they were 1 tank down? They being Refuse.
Hard to say. It would certainly make it a lot easier for 07 to win. Maybe even probable that they would win. But I don't know. The positions from the top of the hill, unless you just bowl over the middle and getch tanks without them really getting away, or without them getting into cover that makes you pay too much or you bounce some shots or whatever. Yeah. It's a hard thing to get done reliably, accurately. So where Refuse was once they got up there, not a big deal. And honestly, even though he took a lot of damage going up, Sublime that is,
he was fine.
Whatever.
Right, and he also gets to sit back and just take some shots off from the hill. But we're into our next battle, ladies and gentlemen. Refuse now up 3-0 against 07 Gaming. Let's see if they can claim 1 more victory, make it 4-0, or if 07 can just take 1 onto Mines and hopefully lighten that load going into our next match. David, what do we got for tanks?
Refuse with 3 IS-3s, 2 54 lightweights, and 2 WZ-131s. 07 with 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, and 2 LTTBs. That would be an incredibly interesting hill fight. Although the 54s aren't equal, so oh well. But as it is, both LTTBs running down the 1-2. The rest of 07 taking the hill, with both 54s getting up on top. And it looks like Refuse has something planned.
Wow, a lot of good focus fire onto Fosta, and the LTTB getting dropped to now just 269 points of health. Obviously not taking him down, but Refuse Gaming doing a good job at putting that pressure on. They did allow 07, however, to get the hill. So we'll see how much 07 can use that advantage of this map to their favor. Now, ZXFT down in the side, he decided to be the one going to that K1 line. How much of a play can he make being that LTTB there by himself? Because Foster needs to be careful because he's 1 or 2 shots out of the most. That's Commodore and Drogon Poe doing a lot. Refuse Gaming, though, deciding to push again even more. Drogon finding Commodore. They decided to do a repeat of what happened last time. Warbanner going to be the focus of this next one. Over 1,000 points of damage. He goes down. Warbanner, though, does take E63 before he goes down himself. And now we'll see how Refuse Gaming continues to push this. Fosta in his LTTB, trying to come up and join the fight. Takes a shot, misses it. And now 3 members of Refuse pushing on top of Magos. He needs to bail off the hill quickly. Synergy also in a lot of trouble. He's got to find his way out. And now Refuse Gaming reclaiming, actually claiming now for the first time in this match, the hill. Looking extremely well. I heard a track being broken. I'm assuming That was Makos going off the hill there. But Fosta in a lot of danger as he is one more shot away. Rude Awakening, though, getting some good damage upon him. I believe that was Makos taking those shots. But David, man, what a very decisive and controlling play from Refuse to just push and take that hill again.
Pretty much the same thing. So this time it was even better for them. Both IS-3s were moved up, so they weren't underneath the hill, which is actually harder to kill them. So they were a shorter distance, easier shots. And Refuse knew that there were 2 LTTBs on the island, so it's at worst
even better for them.
7-on-5,
sure,
with some damage being chipped in from the side. So they just went for it. They got it. No real struggle on that one.
Yeah, now 5-6 in favor of Refuse gaining the health, though not as far away as being 2 tanks down, as Refuse is only have about 800 points. Time is continuing to click down. The pressure for Fosta in that LTTB. I believe this is the first time we've actually seen cap pressure being applied for the side of 07. As last time, Refuse just didn't even let them get to that phase of the game. Now, Refuse being obviously in a better position, being a tank up, having more health on their advantage, and also Fosta just being one more shot away. What do they have to look out for? Obviously, they do have the advantage. What do they need to be careful about?
They need to be careful about trying to make a move with those IS-3s where the T-54 lightweights for 07 can shoot them and run away. Because right now, Refuse Gaming is looking light on hit points in the tanks that have flex.
Okay.
While 07 still has a lot of their flex tanks left alive. So probably going to put the IS-3s in a place where they can bully things down and make 07 fight them directly. Doesn't really look like 07 knows the right places they want to go here. Great move by Refuse, taking that down, that little path down the hill without going so far. That shortens the amount of distance and time that Vetro could run away. So that's probably the best answer they honestly could have had right there.
All right, yeah, doing it well.
Should just be a matter of time here.
Yeah, KT picking up another kill there. ZXFT taking a lot of damage himself. Now Vetro, his T-54 on top of the hill, finding some shots, but he's going to get pushed on right now by a couple members while taking Drogon's damage from the hill. Like you said, just 3 members. ZXFT taking even more damage back here in the ZXFT. Rude Awakening gonna find Vetro. ZXFT over here in his LTTP. Very low himself, and like you said, Refuse Gaming now just trying to finish this one off, and they are on defense, so they are sitting very, very pretty. Cool Hammer moving in on a synergy, trying to find a way to catch him out. Remember, they're getting some nice damage on there. ZXFT doing his best to find Drogon Pro, but here comes the circle around. Shots fired. Cool Hammer and Rude Awakening back-to-back kills. Now Refuse increasing that lead 4-0 against 07 Gaming, and I would not be surprised if 07 took a timeout here. Would you?
Nope. Wouldn't be surprised if either of them took a timeout here. I mean, for Refuse, sure, it's 1 win away, and for 07, it's
one
win away in the other direction, 1 loss away.
Right.
So that was just very prepared play by Refuse.
Yeah.
And 07 making some basic mistakes that aren't obvious until you learn that kind of lesson directly. So as Fosta said, you called
I'm a psychic. Timeout from 07 was just called. Anyway, back to Fosta.
So as Fosta said, he's still learning. He's new, and everybody's got to make these mistakes the hard way.
Everybody has those days.
Because you can be told that, and very few people just hear it and don't make that mistake ever. And then there's a ton of people, pretty much everybody, who know it, and they still make the mistake at some point anyways.
Right.
But
everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Great vision by Refuse, by Rude Awakening, I believe, is doing the calling, to see the openings that are there and jumping on them with very little hesitation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see like a whole minute pass before somebody recognizes that opening.
Right.
He's seeing it quickly. So just a great game by Refuse.
Yeah.
And 07 struggling a little bit, but that's normal.
Everybody has those days. Now looking at as far as I was really excited to see Refuse with such pressure, like you were saying, just kind of highlight how refreshing it is to see teams, once they know they have an overmatch, just to take it. I mean, they just immediately, hey, I'm going to go for it. There's no questioning. They're just like, we have this, let's go. And it's been working out for them every single time. If you're a team like you're going against 07, how do you just try to be like, all right, let's not give them that information, or how do you counter such aggression?
Well, in 754, this format, you kind of can't.
That's how it's set up.
You can maybe, perhaps the best way to do it. Whatever. Perhaps one way to do it is to give them something that they will take, something that's an overmatch.
Okay.
And then make a trap for it. already have it planned. And 07 tried that when they were in the South of Mines by opening up the 8-9 and being able to. So they were doing that vision denial thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And everybody just plowed the 8-9, and perhaps thinking they could get a trap set there. It didn't really work out. So they're trying things, and I see some good things in what they're doing, and the mistakes I'm seeing aren't particularly egregious. I mean they're mistakes that come from experience or a lack of it.
Okay.
But they're not. I don't look at them and just sit there questioning, like, what were you even thinking?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I know what you were thinking, and it was just wrong.
Just didn't work
Right.
out this time.
That's a completely different thing for me. I have much more. I think everybody that's a leader or a strategist has a lot more sympathy for that kind of thing.
Okay.
Because they went through it at some point in time as well. Right now, 07 certainly showing that they have the player skill to hang with a lot of teams.
Sure.
But so far, with Refuse and Noble, just kind of getting out called, out strategized, and what would be really interesting is how well 07 does in the games to come. See how quickly they improve. I'm seeing them improve fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get that kind of the intangibles in order. They'd be pretty harsh to deal with.
All right, well, let's see if they can do that. Hopefully they can actually turn on right now, as they are just one loss away from being out of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, into our next battle, our fifth battle of our fourth match of the night, Refuse versus 07. Let's get right into it on Lakeville this time and check out what we've got for the lineup.
Refuse Gaming with 5 T54 lightweights and 2 WZ131s. 07 with a 5100, 3 IS3s, 2 T54 lightweights, and the FV304. You know his name. It's Bert. Actually, it's the XFT in this instance. But 07 on offense, Refuse on defense. That is it's a rough place to be in as 07.
Well, a lot of people rushing down to the city. Refuse Gaming extremely aggressive here, getting a good chunk of damage onto Synergy Gaming. It's a Synergy on the 07 side. Mako's now looks like the target of focus. Sublime Man rushing through a crazy amount of tanks, just running all over the side. The center here by this church. Mako's dropping extremely low. One more shot, he will go down. E63 doing it, but gonna get down taken is Rude Awakening. Synergy gonna pick that one up, but now he is the focus himself. Memorably coming around from behind. A couple more shots into Warbander in those IS3. Sublime Banana picking up now 2 tanks going down for the side of Refuse. Just one on the red team. E63 continuing to increase that victory. Vetro doing his best to try to take down Refuse, but Refuse looks like they are absolutely in the driver's seat. Memory League finding Commodore. Now 3 tanks remain. Refuse Gaming want to end this one, finish it out quickly, as they have a clear overmatch in the city. Memory League, 2 shots on going into that side on that AMX 5100. ZXFT getting extremely low. Vetro looks like he's the next one to go down. No, it is going to be ZXFT. Sublime Banana picking that one up. E3 finding Vetro, and now finally it is Fosta. It is all over. 407. Refuse Gaming showing they are now the top team in the league as 5-0 against 07. That was over very quickly.
Yep. That was interesting.
I mean,
for a second there, I wasn't sure if I was watching Tanks or a Skrillex concert, because there were just red laser beams, blue laser beams flying everywhere. Now, realistically, dude. Okay,
Skrillex.
E63 putting up the most damage out of that, but honestly, what it looked like to me, Refuse recognizing they had a DPM overmatch, and as long as they got in the right places, I believe, I'd have to do the math on it, but I believe a DPM overmatch, and as long as they got in the right places and they got there quickly, and with all their guns in the same guy, that they would extend that with a cascading thing, and they did it pretty quickly. Both those IS-3s going down relatively fast.
Yeah.
The only thing that threw me off for a second is it kind of looked like it was relatively even for a moment.
Right in the center,
and
going back and forth.
I glanced at Fosta in his 5100, and he still had 6. And I was like, oh no, this could go so bad for Refuse right now, because as soon as those 6 come out, it's gonna tilt.
Sure.
But Refuse did a great job of
positioning
and managing those shots, so they weren't focused on any of their one guys. Kept their DPM advantage, kept expanding it. Cascade to the win.
Yeah, man, Refuse just showing their aggression tonight as it took a 5-0 victory against 07. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our 4th and final match. If you missed anything, let's go over the matches for tonight. Up first, we had Lamp versus Rival. Rival beating Lamp in the tiebreaker 5-4, followed by Game Over versus High Voltage. High Voltage clean sweeping Game Over 5-0. Third was Elevate versus Synergy. Elevate beating Synergy 5-2. And finally, what you guys just saw, Refuse versus 07. Refuse beating 07 5-0. David, out of all the matches tonight, what is just a highlight? What is one of the things that just pops into your head that was very enjoyable to watch, or something that kind of took you by surprise?
Well, it's been a while since I got to say something like this, but elevate. Elevate with the Tiger Ones coming down the F line on Ruinberg.
Yeah.
Was cool.
That was yeah, just to see these new strategies coming out. That was going to be mine as well. Or just watching Refuse the aggression, just seeing these teams really taking that, like, hey, we're not going to let people come to us. Like, we're going to be the ones to start making those plays, and they're doing it extremely well. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. Thank you all of you who are watching on BattleViewer.com. If you haven't, you have a chance next time to check it out. Actually, make sure you tune in Tuesday, July 21st for our next matchups. We have a fantastic lineup for you guys. Up first is going to be #RU facing off against Maple Freedom, followed by Noble versus Rival. Third is going to be Simp versus High Voltage, and finally Lamp versus Game Over. Some very exciting games coming from you guys. Again, fantastic play all around tonight. On behalf, ladies and gentlemen, of everyone here at WGLNA, that has been David Williams. I am Christian Toma. Guys, enjoy your weekend, and thanks for stopping by.